Hello friends, Miss Natalie here, and today I'm going to show you how to paint the middle ground of your impressionistic landscape painting. I am using the Viridian as my main color for those beautiful trees in the background. That's where I'm going to start. I'm blending some Viridian, and I'm blending a little bit of the navy blue in with it. Just to keep the colors similar. And I'm using actually that flatter side of my flat brush to kind of give a tree-like aspect to the dabs that I am adding to my paper. And I'm going to add some of the lighter green, the bright green in as well for a little bit more contrast. Loading my brush up, of course you can't see it, with the greens and a little bit of the navy blue there. There we go. And kind of blending some of it together, making some parts a little bit bluer, some parts a little bit greener. And just trying to give you the sense of trees on the hills far away. That's what we're doing, or not terribly far away, but relative farther away than what's going to be in our foreground. And putting in a little bit of that bright green to give some contrast and blending it in a little bit, and then dabbing in or more on my mountainside, my hillside. There we go. And again, like I was saying before when I was doing the background, I am going to be loading up my brush with multiple colors at the same time to give that effect of having multiple colors at the same time. But you can see that it gives the effect of different colors of trees and some light in some places and shadow in others. And that it just makes also these quick brush strokes, these dabbed brush strokes, it makes them a little bit more individual, where each brush stroke doesn't necessarily blend in with the other ones. It stands out a bit more, and I'm loading my brush up with paint as I'm dabbing it on. As I go on, I might notice that the corners of my paper might bend a little bit. If you have that issue, you can put a little tape on the corners of your paper, especially after they dry. But if it curls up a little bit, it's not the end of the world. And I'm just dabbing some other colors in, cleaning my paint brush out, and I think I am going to be moving on to the rounded tip brush. There it is, that rounded tip brush, not the long one, but the shorter one. And I'm going to use that with those same greens. And I am going to maybe even bring a little bit of the yellow. Am I bringing the yellow in yet? I will bring in a little bit of the yellow eventually, but I'm going to extend those trees across in front of those foothills, using more of the lighter green and a little less of the darker green, but just let them in as if I am painting a tree here and a tree there. Each of these dabs is maybe an individual tree. And I am going to go ahead and paint over that shrub that I sketched. It's okay. I will remember where I put it. If you don't feel comfortable painting over your sketch, then just paint around it. That's fine. I paint over it because I can always go and look at the image again and figure out where the shrub goes. But if you want to paint around it, do so, because that'll basically, what you can do is use your sketch to kind of fill in each section with the paint. kind of like well, not really a paint by numbers, but sort of like a paint by numbers, in that, these dabs go here, these dabs with these different colors go there. And I'm really using the side of this brush rather than the tip at first, and then I can go back with the tip. And again, I'm just barely dabbing the paintbrush to the paper so that it doesn't splay the brush strands out. And now I've got my hill that is going to have definitely going to be lighter. And I am going to dab a little more heavily there with the tip of my brush because it's going to have a different texture to it. It is more like grass and less like individual trees. So I'm just dabbing, and I'm going to dab a little yellow in there. And I might pull some brown in eventually, but I am filling my brush up with multiple colors at the same time to get that grassy area that is on the bank of the lake. And kind of pulling it over and adding some more pieces here and there. Filling my brush up again, using so much paint. I use lots of paint. Now I'm going to add a little bit more yellow. I'm adding yellow at this point to, number one, differentiate the color of the grassy area to the color of the trees, and also to bring in a yellow that's going to be a major color in my foreground. So reflecting, not like a mirror, but reflecting as in bringing that color in. All right, the next part of the painting is going to be the reflections in the water. And the first part of the reflections, I'm going to be working with getting that green out of my brush as much as I possibly can, wiping it off on my paper towel. Again, you do not want a single bit of paint to go down your drain. So you want to make sure you wipe all of the paint that's on your brushes onto a paper towel or something that you can throw away. Now I'm loading my brush up with some white, and I'm just going to go along the edge of that lake and start with the reflection of those trees and that grassy area. And this I'm making rather smooth. I'm not worrying so much about bold strokes at this point. When I go into the water itself, then I'm going to start thinking about bold strokes there. But for now, I'm just making a demarcation. I'm making a differentiation between where the trees and the grass are and where the lake begins. All right, and I'm going to make sure that my brush is very, very, very clean at this point. And then I'm going to the second part, which is working on the actual water, and I will be doing that in the next video. I decided before I did that, I'm going to add just a few little brown bits, and then I thought, no, this isn't good. Let's take the green back in. I just wanted to give some other kinds of colors in those trees that are on the side, but I'm not sure. Let me know. Drop a link in the chat. Drop a something in the chat to tell me if you think that the brown added anything at all to the trees. That is the first part. That is the trees and the grass. Go ahead and paint your trees and the grass and come back and we'll work on that later.